If you're injured in an auto accident during bad winter weather and the other driver is at fault, you may need a lawyer. I'm attorney Jim Sokolove. For over 16 years, my business has been personal injury law. We've helped many auto accident victims get the money they deserve. So if you're injured in an auto accident this winter, call us. We'll fight hard to get you everything you're entitled to. It costs nothing to talk to us. If you've been injured on your job, you may need a lawyer, one who knows workers' comp and will fight hard to get you everything you're entitled to. I'm attorney Jim Sokolove. My business is personal injury law. We've helped hundreds of people collect the money they deserve for job-related injuries. If you've been injured on the job, call this number. It costs nothing to talk to us.
Nursing home neglect and abuse. Nursing home neglect and abuse happens every day due to improper nursing home staffing and inadequate care. Bed sores, malnutrition, improper restraints, scalding, and even death may be signs of nursing home neglect and abuse. If you think that your loved one has been the victim of nursing home neglect and abuse, call the law offices of James Sokolove at 1-800-513-1665. That's 1-800-513-1665. Attention heart valve replacement patients. If you had your aortic or mitral heart valve surgically repaired or replaced and have taken the diet drug Pondamin, Redux, or Fen-Phen, you may be entitled to compensation. Again, if your aortic or mitral heart valve was repaired or replaced and you took Fen-Phen, call the law offices of James Sokolove at 1-800-272-6263. That's 1-800-272-6263.
A message from the law offices of James Sokolove on mesothelioma. Mesothelioma is a rare, malignant type of cancer in the lungs, usually associated with exposure to asbestos. If you or a loved one have been diagnosed with mesothelioma, call the law offices of James Sokolove at 1-800-518-3656, 1-800-518-3656, 1-800-518-3656.
A message from the law offices of James Sokolove on mesothelioma. Mesothelioma is a rare, malignant type of cancer in the lungs, usually associated with exposure to asbestos. If you or a loved one have been diagnosed with mesothelioma, call the law offices of James Sokolove now.
Call 800-492-4332. That's 800-492-4332.
Your life has been devastated by mesothelioma, the rare form of cancer caused by exposure to asbestos. You have legal rights that could result in a cash settlement worth hundreds of thousands or even millions of dollars. And it won't cost you a cent unless you win. Our affiliated law offices have won millions of dollars for victims of mesothelioma and their families. We know how to make companies pay for their mistakes. It's a fact. Companies whose employees have developed mesothelioma because of exposure to asbestos have paid hundreds of millions of dollars to the victims and the families of deceased victims. Know your rights. Get the money and the justice you deserve. And remember, you don't pay us anything until we get money for you. Get treated with respect and dignity. Get what the law entitles you to. Get the money and the justice you deserve.
Call 800-981-5896. That's 800-981-5896.
If you or a loved one was diagnosed with mesothelioma, call the number on your screen now. Mesothelioma is a rare cancer linked to asbestos exposure. Exposure to asbestos in mills, shipyards, or in the heating, automotive, and construction industries may have put you at risk.
Please don't wait. Call now at 1-800-485-4033. That's 1-800-485-4033.
Good investors. Recently, large brokerage firms were fined $1.4 billion to settle charges of biased research by their analysts. If you lost over $50,000 in the stock market, it could have been the result of the fraudulent actions of your brokerage firm, and you may be able to get your money back. Call the law offices of James Sokolove at 1-800-646-85.
Attention leukemia victims exposed to benzene. Benzene is a common industrial solvent known to cause acute myelogenous leukemia, AML, and other forms of cancer. Hundreds of thousands of workers in the petroleum, rubber-making, and printing industries may be at risk. If you or a loved one has been diagnosed with leukemia that may be due to the solvent benzene, call this number in confidence. 1-800-340-6551 or visit us on the web at benzenelegal.com. Don't delay. A warning for people taking Bextra, the prescription medication given to pain and arthritis sufferers. Studies have shown that Bextra increased the risks of heart attack and stroke in certain patients. If you or a loved one took Bextra and suffered a heart attack or stroke, call the number on your screen now. You may be entitled to compensation. Again, if you or a loved one took Bextra and suffered a heart attack or stroke, call 1-800-794-2476 in confidence. That's 1-800-794-2476. Don't delay. Attention professionals denied a disability claim by Unum, Provident, Paul Revere, or First Unum. If your disability claim was denied or terminated, you may be entitled to compensation. Again, if your disability claim was denied or terminated by Unum, Provident, Paul Revere, or First Unum,
call 1-800-528-0405 now. That's 1-800-528-0405. We're standing by 24 hours a day to take your call. Don't delay.
Attention! If you cannot work because of a physical or mental disability, call now. You may be entitled to collect disability pay from the Social Security Administration. Again, if you are disabled and cannot work due to physical or mental disability, you may be entitled to receive disability payments.
Call 1-800-965-4201. That's 1-800-965-4201. Call now.
Attention defibrillator and pacemaker patients. The Guidant Corporation recently recalled cardiac defibrillators due to failure and even death, and warns that certain pacemakers could also fail. If you or a loved one was injured by defibrillator or pacemaker failure, call 1-800-585-3141 to discuss your rights. That's 1-800-585-3141. We're standing by 24 hours a day to take your call. Don't delay.
If you or someone you care about was diagnosed with acute myeloid leukemia, or AML, you may be entitled to compensation. So call the number on your screen now for a free consultation. Acute myeloid leukemia, AML, is a form of leukemia linked to benzene exposure. Thousands of people working in the petroleum refining, rubber making, and printing industries may be exposed to benzene and may be at risk for developing acute myeloid leukemia. So please, for a free consultation, call the number on your screen now. We are here 24 hours a day to take your call in confidence. Remember, if you or someone you care for was diagnosed with acute myeloid leukemia, AML, after exposure to benzene,
call us now at 1-800-631-6293. Please call day or night at 1-800-631-6293.
If you or a loved one was diagnosed with mesothelioma, call the number on your screen now. Mesothelioma is a rare cancer linked to asbestos exposure. Exposure to asbestos in mills, shipyards, or in the heating, construction, and automotive industries may have put you at risk. Even people close to you could develop mesothelioma due to secondhand exposure. Please don't wait. Call now at 1-800-275-0192. That's 1-800-275-0192.
I'm a non-attorney spokesperson. If you or a loved one was diagnosed with an asbestos-related disease, such as mesothelioma or lung cancer, call the number on your screen now. Mesothelioma and lung cancer have been directly linked to asbestos exposure. Exposure to asbestos in mills, shipyards, or in the heating, automotive, and construction industries may have put you at risk. If you or a loved one was diagnosed with mesothelioma or lung cancer, call the number on your screen now for a free legal consultation. Secondhand exposure to asbestos may have also put loved ones at risk for mesothelioma or lung cancer. If you've been diagnosed with mesothelioma or lung cancer, please don't wait. Call or log in today for your free legal consultation. You may be entitled to compensation. We're standing by to take your call in confidence.
Please don't wait. Call now at 1-800-485-4033. That's 1-800-485-4033.
There's no medical test that ensures that your doctor listens, listens, to your symptoms and concerns. I'm attorney Jim Sokolove. If your loved one was a victim of medical malpractice, call us. And if you have a case, we'll make our 24-hour promise. Within 24 hours, we'll start working to get you money. We're the legal veterans who, for over 30 years, have held doctors accountable. For our 24-hour promise, call Sokolove Law at 1-800-CALL-JIM.
If you or a loved one was diagnosed with mesothelioma, call the number on your screen now. Mesothelioma and other asbestos-related diseases such as lung cancer have been directly linked to asbestos exposure. Exposure to asbestos in mills, shipyards, or in the heating, automotive, and construction industries may have put you at risk. If you or a loved one was diagnosed with mesothelioma, call the number on your screen now for a free legal consultation. Secondhand exposure to asbestos may have also put loved ones at risk for mesothelioma or lung cancer. If you've been diagnosed with mesothelioma or lung cancer, please don't wait. Call today for your free legal consultation. You may be entitled to compensation. We're standing by to take your call in confidence. Call 1-800-255-9902. Don't delay. That's 1-800-255-9902. I am a non-attorney spokesperson for James Sokolove, Wellesley, Mass.
I am a non-attorney spokesperson. Have you had your disability claim denied or canceled? In recent years, Unum Group was fined millions of dollars after being accused of wrongly denying disability claims. Fighting a big insurance company can be difficult. If you're unable to work due to a disability, don't give up. Call now for a free legal consultation. Disability pay may replace half or more of lost income.
Call 1-800-584-8960 now. Again, that's 1-800-584-8960.
Non-attorney spokesperson. Are you a disabled professional who has had your claim denied or canceled by your insurance company? In the past, Unum Group has been fined millions of dollars after being accused of wrongly denying disability claims. Fighting a big insurance company can be overwhelming. Sokolove Law has helped disabled professionals in their fight against Unum and other insurance carriers. If you're unable to work due to a disability and your insurance carrier has denied your claim, don't give up. We may be able to help you recover the benefits you were denied. Call us now for a free legal consultation. Disability benefit pay may replace half or more of lost income.
If you believe your disability claim was unfairly denied or terminated, call 1-800-568-5158 now. Don't give up on your denied claim. Call us for a free consultation at 1-800-568-5158. Again, that's 1-800-568-5158.
I am a paid non-attorney spokesperson. Attention knee replacement patients. Have you had knee replacement surgery? Some knee replacement systems may have higher failure rates than others. If you or a loved one experienced complications after a knee replacement and you had corrective surgery or a doctor recommended you have additional surgery, you may be entitled to compensation. Call 1-800-476-1843 for a free legal consultation. Again, that's 1-800-476-1843.
Hip replacement patients. Have you had serious complications after hip replacement surgery? If you needed corrective surgery or had other problems with your hip replacement, you may be entitled to compensation. Some manufacturers may ask you to sign a medical release form, but call us first. Don't sign away your rights. Call 1-800-533-0739 now for your free legal consultation. Again, that's 1-800-533-0739.
Attention diabetes patients. Have you been diagnosed with pancreatic cancer, pancreatitis, or thyroid cancer? The type 2 diabetes drugs Byetta, Januvia, and Victoza have been linked to these serious side effects. If you or a loved one took medication for type 2 diabetes and were diagnosed with pancreatic cancer, pancreatitis, or thyroid cancer, you may be entitled to compensation.
Call 1-800-704-1147 now for your free legal consultation. Again, that's 1-800-704-1147. I'm a non-attorney spokesperson.
Have you received a steroid shot to relieve back pain? An outbreak of meningitis has been linked to steroid shots provided to patients around the country. If you or a loved one received a steroid treatment and have been diagnosed with meningitis, you may be entitled to compensation. U.S. health officials believe that thousands of patients may be affected. Call 1-800-985-0973 now for your free legal consultation. Again, that's 1-800-985-0973. I'm a non-attorney spokesperson.
I am a non-attorney spokesperson. The Government Accountability Office has released an important report regarding abuse and neglect in nursing homes. It states that 70% of state nursing homes underreported serious care problems. Broken bones, dehydration, and malnutrition may be signs of nursing home abuse or neglect. If you believe that a loved one has been a victim of nursing home abuse or neglect,
call Sokolove Law at 1-800-560-6452.
I'm a non-attorney spokesperson. Attention, Yasmin and Yaz users. Yasmin and Yaz, both oral contraceptive drugs, have been reported to cause adverse side effects such as blood clots, stroke, heart attack, kidney failure, or even death. If you or a loved one took Yasmin or Yaz and suffered from any of the injuries listed on the screen, you may be entitled to compensation. Call 1-800-631-6843 for a free legal consultation. Again, that's 1-800-631-6843. I am a non-attorney spokesperson. Attention, Yasmin, Yaz, and Acela users. Yasmin, Yaz, and Acela oral contraceptive drugs have been reported to cause adverse side effects such as blood clots, stroke, heart attack, kidney failure, liver damage, gallbladder disease, or even death. If you or a loved one took Yasmin, Yaz, or Acela and suffered from any of the injuries listed on the screen, you may be entitled to compensation. Call 1-800-536-8078 for a free legal consultation. Again, that's 1-800-536-8078.
If so, we urge you to call the number on your screen now for a free legal consultation. Some lung cancers, along with the other cancers listed on your screen, may be linked to asbestos exposure. Exposure to asbestos in mills, factories, or while working as a plumber, electrician, plasterer, maintenance worker, or janitor may have put you at risk. In addition, because asbestos was widely used on ships, those working in shipyards, including Navy veterans, may have also been exposed. Asbestos has been used in many commercial applications, including insulation, fireproof fabrics, automotive parts, building materials, and small kitchen appliances. If you or a loved one was diagnosed with lung cancer or another asbestos-related cancer, call now for a free legal consultation. You may be entitled to compensation. Call 1-800-839-1855. Again, that's 1-800-839-1855. I am a non-attorney spokesperson for James Sokolove, Wellesley, Mass.
If you or a loved one has mesothelioma or any other asbestos-related cancer, call now. Over $18 billion in court-ordered trusts have been set aside to pay out claims to asbestos victims. You may be entitled to receive compensation. Call now.
I'm a paid non-attorney spokesperson. Cerebral palsy and brachial plexus injuries, sometimes called Erb's palsy, can be the direct result of medical negligence caused by your doctor and hospital during the delivery of your baby. Signs of these injuries can appear in the delivery room or during the first years of a child's life. If you notice your child has a floppy appearance, seizures that developed shortly after delivery, an inability to sit up, crawl, walk, or reach milestones, spastic or tight muscles, or a limp arm, these may be the earliest signs of cerebral palsy or brachial plexus injury and could be the result of improper care during delivery. Our registered nurses are available to speak with you. We may be able to help you find the answers you need to get compensation you deserve for your child. Call 1-800-713-0776 today for a free consultation. Again, that's 1-800-713-0776. 1-800-713-0776.
Attention parents, did you know that conditions like cerebral palsy and brachial plexus injuries, sometimes called Erb's palsy, can be the direct result of medical negligence caused by your doctor or hospital before, during, or immediately following the delivery of your baby? If you notice your child has a floppy appearance, seizures, an inability to sit up, crawl, or walk, spastic or tight muscles, a limp arm, or is not reaching developmental milestones, call today. Our registered nurses are available to speak with you and review the medical care you received. We may be able to help get the compensation you need to care for your child. Again, if your child has cerebral palsy or brachial plexus palsy, call today. Even if you haven't received a diagnosis, but you suspect that an injury at birth may have caused developmental delays, call 1-800-579-1562 for a free consultation or text child to 54555. Again, call 1-800-579-1562 or text child to 54555. I'm a paid non-attorney spokesperson. Attention parents, did you know that conditions like cerebral palsy and Erb's palsy can be the result of medical negligence caused by your doctor or hospital before, during, or immediately after the delivery of your baby? Call today. Our registered nurses are available to speak with you. We may be able to help get the compensation you need to care for your child. Click here now or call 1-866-379-3840 for a free consultation. Again, that's 1-866-379-3840. I am a non-attorney spokesperson.
If you or a loved one has mesothelioma or been diagnosed with another asbestos-related cancer, call now. An estimated $30 billion in court-ordered trusts have been set aside to pay out claims to asbestos victims. You may be able to receive compensation without ever going to court or filing a lawsuit. Thousands of hardworking men and women have been diagnosed with mesothelioma because manufacturers put profits ahead of safety. Manufacturers knew the risks of asbestos exposure for years, but knowingly manufactured and sold deadly asbestos-containing materials, putting millions of American workers at risk. These manufacturers have tried to avoid compensating their victims, but the courts have ordered them to set aside an estimated $30 billion in trust money for the victims of asbestos. Call now to see if you're entitled to a portion of the $30 billion. You could receive compensation without filing a lawsuit or going to court.
Call 1-800-652-9868 for a free legal consultation. Again, that's 1-800-652-9868. I'm a non-attorney spokesperson.
Attention women. Johnson & Johnson recently announced they will stop selling certain transvaginal mesh products. Serious complications have been associated with transvaginal mesh, including infections, severe pain, and even death. If your loved one had surgery where transvaginal mesh was used and you suffered complications, you may be entitled to compensation.
Call 1-800-794-2410 now for a free legal consultation. That's 1-800-794-2410. Attention parents and men who have taken Risperdal or Invega. Risperdal and Invega are antipsychotic drugs linked to gynecomastia, a condition that causes boys to develop breasts. If you or your son took Risperdal or Invega and have developed breasts, you may be entitled to compensation. Hundreds of cases have already been filed. Don't hesitate to find out if you have a claim. Call 1-800-837-9415 for a free and confidential legal consultation. Again, that's 1-800-837-9415. I'm a paid non-attorney spokesperson. Are you aware of fraud occurring at your workplace? Do the right thing. Blow the whistle. Federal legislation protects citizens who report fraud. Some companies have been responsible for defrauding the U.S. government of millions of dollars. When you do the right thing, you're not only protected from retaliation, but you may also receive up to 30% of the funds you help recover. Call Sokolove Law today at 1-800-638-6928 for a free legal consultation. That's 1-800-638-6928. I'm a non-attorney spokesperson.
Have you undergone dialysis treatment? Certain dialysis solution additives, such as Granuflow and Naturalite, have been associated with an increased risk of heart attack, cardiac arrest, and even death. If you had dialysis and suffered a heart-related injury, or if a loved one died after having dialysis, you may be entitled to compensation. The FDA issued a Class 1 recall on Granuflow and Naturalite after it was found that the products could put patients at risk for cardiac arrest when not prescribed appropriately. Class 1 recalls are the most serious type of recall and involve situations where there is a reasonable probability that the use of a product will cause serious adverse health consequences or death. If you or a loved one has been harmed by Granuflow or Naturalite during dialysis,
call 1-800-794-4324 now for your free legal consultation. Again, that's 1-800-794-4324. 1-800-794-4324. I'm a non-attorney spokesperson.
Attention women. Did you have a procedure where surgical mesh was used? Serious complications have been associated with some surgical mesh products, including infections, severe pain, and even death. If you or a loved one had a procedure where surgical mesh was used and you suffered complications, you may be entitled to compensation.
Call 1-800-564-0848 now for your free legal consultation. Again, that's 1-800-564-0848. I'm a non-attorney spokesperson.
you have a bone graft during surgery? Use of the Medtronic infused bone graft may increase your risk of cancer, infection, respiratory problems, uncontrollable bone growth, or nerve damage. If you were diagnosed with cancer or suffered other serious complications after having a bone graft, or if a family member had a bone graft and died, you may be entitled to compensation.
Call 1-800-561-0374 now for your free legal consultation. Again, that's 1-800-561-0374. I'm a paid announcer.
Attention investors. The Wall Street Journal reports fraudulent brokers and financial firms were fined $68 million in 2012. You may be a victim of investment misconduct. Tax season is a great time to review your investments and learn if you may be entitled to compensation. Call our investment fraud hotline for a free confidential legal consultation at 1-800-941-0471. If you have losses due to broker misconduct, Sokolove Law may be able to recover some or all of your money. Call 1-800-941-0471.
Attention investors, beware of cockroaching. The Wall Street Journal reports nearly 5,000 high-risk brokers crawled from one fraudulent firm to another last year, putting your money at risk. You may be a victim of investment fraud. Tax season is a great time to review your investments. If you have losses due to broker misconduct, Sokolove Law may be able to recover some or all of your money. Call 1-800-641-1806. That's 1-800-641-1806. I'm a non-attorney spokesperson. Were you or a loved one diagnosed with lung cancer? If so, we urge you to call the number on your screen now for a free legal consultation. Some lung cancers, along with the other cancers listed on your screen, may be linked to asbestos exposure. Exposure to asbestos in mills, factories, power plants, or while working as a plumber, electrician, plasterer, or maintenance worker may have put you at risk. In addition, because asbestos was widely used on ships, those working in shipyards, including Navy veterans, may have also been exposed. Asbestos has been used in many commercial applications, including insulation, fireproof fabrics, automotive parts, building materials, and turbines. If you or a loved one was diagnosed with lung cancer or another asbestos-related cancer, call Sokolove Law for a free legal consultation. You may be entitled to compensation. Call 1-800-562-0326. Again, that's 1-800-562-0326. I'm a non-attorney spokesperson.
For 3C. Attention diabetics. Research has linked the use of a cholesterol drug with the development of diabetes in some women. The FDA is also investigating several diabetes drugs linked to pancreatitis and pancreatic cancer. You may be entitled to compensation if you took cholesterol medication before you developed diabetes, or if you've taken diabetes medication and have been diagnosed with pancreatitis or pancreatic cancer. Call 1-800-707-6214 now for your free legal consultation. That's 1-800-707-6214.
Your long-term disability claim was denied. Listen closely. You may be able to recover money. Unum is one of the largest disability insurance carriers, and companies you know like Colonial Life, New York Life, and National Life Group are all part of the Unum family. Unum was fined millions for wrongly denying claims. You may be owed compensation. Let us help you through the appeal process.
Call Sokolove Law, 800-567-8531. That's 800-567-8531. I'm a non-attorney spokesperson.
If you or a loved one has mesothelioma or any other asbestos-related cancer, call now. Asbestos manufacturers sold deadly asbestos materials to thousands of companies, putting workers at risk. An estimated $30 billion in court-ordered trusts have been set aside to pay out claims to asbestos victims. You may be entitled to a portion of these funds and receive compensation without filing a lawsuit or ever going to court.
For your free legal consultation, call 1-800-804-5228. That's 1-800-804-5228. I'm a non-attorney spokesperson.
The U.S. population remains at risk. A recent report by the CDC and National Cancer Institute says 3,200 cases of mesothelioma are diagnosed every year. That's basically 8 new mesothelioma victims every day due to asbestos exposure decades ago. If you or a loved one has been diagnosed with mesothelioma, call now. You may be eligible for a portion of $30 billion in trust money without ever going to court or filing a lawsuit. State laws limit the time to file a claim. Call 1-800-259-5414. That's 1-800-259-5414.
Attention. Federal regulations require nursing home facilities to report all abuse allegations. Sadly, a government sample study on nursing facility compliance found nearly 50% of abuse allegations in 2012 went unreported. If you suspect a loved one is suffering abuse or neglect, call Sokolove Law for a free, confidential legal consultation. The study goes on to say that of the complaints that were reported in 2012, actual physical injury was the most common. Signs of nursing home abuse or neglect can include falls, broken bones, bed sores, dehydration, and malnutrition. If you believe your loved one has been the victim of abuse or neglect, report it immediately and speak with an attorney to help protect their rights.
Call Sokolove Law today for a free legal consultation at 1-800-353-0060. That's 1-800-353-0060. I'm a non-attorney spokesperson.
If you or a loved one has taken an antidepressant for chronic pain, listen closely. Patients who stop taking an antidepressant may suffer withdrawal symptoms, including seizures, tingling skin sensations, and painful electric sensations in the brain, known as brain shocks. If you stop taking an antidepressant and suffered withdrawal, you may be entitled to compensation. Call Sokolove Law now, 1-800-494-2035 for your free legal consultation. That's 1-800-494-2035. I'm a non-attorney spokesperson.
Attention men. Have you been diagnosed with skin cancer? One of the most widely prescribed drugs used to treat erectile dysfunction has been linked to the development of melanoma, a rare and potentially fatal form of skin cancer. If you've taken a prescription erectile dysfunction drug and were later diagnosed with a skin cancer melanoma, you may be entitled to compensation. Call Sokolove Law now, 1-800-251-9693 for your free legal consultation. That's 1-800-251-9693. I'm a non-attorney spokesperson.
If you or a loved one has taken Cymbalta for chronic pain, listen closely. Patients who stop taking Cymbalta may suffer withdrawal symptoms, including seizures, tingling skin sensations, and painful electric sensations in the brain, known as brain shocks. If you stop taking Cymbalta and suffered from withdrawal, you may be entitled to compensation. Call Sokolove Law now, 1-800-461-7539 for your free legal consultation. That's 1-800-461-7539. I'm a non-attorney spokesperson.
Have you been diagnosed with an irregular heartbeat? Do you take a blood thinner to reduce your risk of stroke? Blood thinners, like Pradaxa, have been associated with an increased risk of severe bleeding and even death. If you or a loved one took Pradaxa and suffered from internal bleeding or had a stroke, you may be entitled to compensation. Don't hesitate to find out if you have a claim.
Call 1-800-326-5727 now for your free legal consultation. Again, that's 1-800-326-5727. I'm a paid announcer.
Attention! If you had surgery to repair a hernia, listen closely. A certain type of hernia mesh has recently been recalled after 2 studies showed higher rates of hernias reopening and additional surgeries compared to other meshes. This product may cause severe health problems, including pain, swelling, bowel obstructions, infections, mesh failure, hernia recurrence, and other health issues. If you or a loved one had hernia repair surgery in 2006 or later and suffered complications that required additional surgery, you may be entitled to compensation. Even if you're unsure which brand was used in your surgery, you may still be eligible for compensation. Call Sokolove Law now at 1-800-550-2393 for a free legal consultation. That's 1-800-550-2393. Again, that's 1-800-550-2393. I'm a non-attorney spokesperson.
Attention women. If you or a loved one use Assure for permanent birth control, listen closely. Thousands of women have reported serious side effects to the FDA after having the Assure birth control device implanted. Side effects can be debilitating and may include chronic pain, severe bleeding, allergic reactions to nickel in the device, organ perforation, migration of the implant to other parts of the body, and even unplanned pregnancy. If you develop serious health problems, or if a loved one died after Assure was implanted, don't suffer in silence. Call the number on your screen now to find out more about your personal legal options. You may be entitled to compensation for your suffering. Call Sokolove Law now at 1-800-461-3889 for your free legal consultation with one of our female case managers. Again, that's 1-800-461-3889. 1-800-461-3889. I'm a non-attorney spokesperson.
Attention, railroad and industrial workers. You may have been exposed to asbestos while working on locomotives or in railroad repair and maintenance facilities decades ago. The so-called boilers on wheels may have contained asbestos in a variety of places. If you worked as a brakeman, switchman, boilerman, or machinist, or in other trades, you may be at risk for developing mesothelioma, the deadly cancer caused by asbestos exposure. Although federal regulations were established to keep workers safe, many manufacturers continued to use asbestos in their products, hiding the dangers of exposure. An estimated $30 billion in trust money has been set aside to pay out claims to asbestos victims. If you or a loved one has been diagnosed with mesothelioma, you may be entitled to compensation. State laws limit the time you have to file a claim. Call Sokolove Law today at 1-866-426-9736 for a free legal consultation. That's 1-866-426-9736. I'm a non-attorney spokesperson.
Attention women. If you took certain anti-nausea drugs during pregnancy for morning sickness and your baby was born with a birth defect, you may be entitled to compensation. Taking certain anti-nausea medications while pregnant may increase the risk of birth defects, such as cleft lip, cleft palate, club foot, heart defects, and other health problems. If your baby was harmed, let us fight for you. Call Sokolove Law, 1-800-561-4919. That's 1-800-561-4919. I'm a non-attorney spokesperson.
If you or a loved one has been diagnosed with mesothelioma, the deadly cancer caused by asbestos exposure, call Sokolove Law now. An estimated $30 billion in court-ordered trust money has been set aside for victims and their families. We know time is important to you. We come to you at a location of your choosing. We can be there fast, often the next day. The consultation is free. There's no cost to you or your family. Sokolove Law tries to make the process easy so victims can spend valuable time with loved ones. If you have a case, we come to you and gather all the information needed. In fact, many of our mesothelioma clients with qualifying claims never leave the comfort of their home to receive compensation. If you or a loved one has been diagnosed with mesothelioma, call now. You may be able to receive money without ever going to court or filing a lawsuit. Call Sokolove Law today for a free legal consultation at 1-800-326-9483. Again, that's 1-800-326-9483. I'm a non-attorney spokesperson.
Have you taken the blood pressure medication Benicar and suffered intestinal problems? The FDA reports Benicar and similar drugs can cause abdominal pain, vomiting, and severe chronic diarrhea, leading to weight loss. If you or a loved one suffered any of these side effects while taking Benicar or a similar blood pressure medication, you may be entitled to compensation. Call now, 1-800-201-0012 for your free legal consultation. Again, that's 1-800-201-0012. I'm a non-attorney spokesperson.
Attention men, if you use prescription testosterone or low T supplements, listen closely. The FDA now requires makers of these products to include the risk of heart attack and stroke on their warning labels. If you suffered a heart attack, stroke, blood clots, or other severe health problems, or if a loved one died after using testosterone, you may be entitled to compensation. Call Sokolove Law, 1-800-889-1366 for your free legal consultation. That's 1-800-889-1366. I'm a non-attorney spokesperson.
Attention women. If you or a loved one developed cancer after surgery to remove uterine fibroids, you may be entitled to compensation. The FDA issued a warning that surgical tools, called power morcellators, can spread deadly uterine cancer. If you or a loved one were diagnosed with cancer after having surgery to remove uterine fibroids, call Sokolove Law now, 1-800-416-2316 for your free legal consultation. That's 1-800-416-2316. I'm a non-attorney spokesperson.
Attention, firefighters and those who worked in the construction trades decades ago. The CDC reports firefighters from the 1950s are now being diagnosed with mesothelioma at twice the rate of the general population. Exposure to asbestos while fighting fires or working as a builder, plumber, and in other trades may have put you at risk of developing mesothelioma, the deadly cancer caused by asbestos exposure. If you or a loved one has been diagnosed with mesothelioma, call the number on your screen now. Firefighters, along with tradesmen and laborers who built homes and commercial buildings through the 1980s, may have been exposed to asbestos because of its wide use in home and workplace renovations. If you or someone you love has been diagnosed with mesothelioma, call Sokolove Law at 1-800-801-1297. Again, that's 1-800-801-1297. I'm a non-attorney spokesperson.
Attention! The FDA issued a warning about a medical device linked to several bacterial outbreaks. The devices are used in endoscopic procedures and may not be sterile before use, exposing patients to drug-resistant bacteria. If you suffered from sepsis, a serious infection, or if a loved one died after an endoscopic procedure, you may be entitled to compensation. Call Sokolove Law, 1-800-445-2615 for your free legal consultation. That's 1-800-445-2615. I'm a non-attorney spokesperson. Attention men, have you been diagnosed with skin cancer? One of the most widely prescribed drugs used to treat erectile dysfunction has been linked to the development of melanoma, a rare and potentially fatal form of skin cancer. If you've taken a prescription erectile dysfunction drug and were later diagnosed with a skin cancer melanoma, you may be entitled to compensation. Call Sokolove Law now, 1-800-250-2035 for your free legal consultation. That's 1-800-250-2035. I'm a non-attorney spokesperson. Were you or a loved one diagnosed with lung cancer? If so, we urge you to call the number on your screen now for a free legal consultation. Lung cancer, along with other cancers listed on screen, and the disease asbestosis may be linked to asbestos exposure. Exposure to asbestos in mills, factories, power plants, or while working as a plumber, electrician, plasterer, or maintenance worker may have put you at risk. In addition, because asbestos was widely used on ships, those working in shipyards, including Navy veterans, may have also been exposed. Asbestos has been used in many commercial applications, including insulation, fireproof fabrics, automotive parts, building materials, and turbines. If you or a loved one was diagnosed with lung cancer or another asbestos-related cancer, call Sokolove Law for a free legal consultation. You may be entitled to compensation. Call 1-800-324-6908. Again, that's 1-800-324-6908. I'm a non-attorney spokesperson.
If you or a loved one has mesothelioma, especially U.S. veterans, call now. Many manufacturers sold deadly asbestos materials to thousands of companies and the U.S. military, putting workers and veterans at risk. An estimated $30 billion has been set aside to pay claims. You may be entitled to compensation without filing a lawsuit or ever going to court. Ask for a veteran when you call for your free legal consultation. Call 1-800-258-1594. That's 1-800-258-1594.
This is a paid advertisement for legal services. Attention! Studies show that the popular bladder pain medication Elmiron may be linked to vision problems. Elmiron is used to treat interstitial cystitis, also known as painful bladder syndrome. If you or a loved one have experienced vision issues or vision loss after taking Elmiron, you may be entitled to compensation.
Call Sokolove Law, 877-300-9619 for a free legal consultation. That's 877-300-9619. I'm a non-attorney spokesperson.
This is a paid advertisement for legal services. Attention ovarian cancer victims. Johnson & Johnson has stopped production of their talc-based baby powder in North America. Johnson & Johnson knew for decades about many medical studies linking long-term use of talc-based baby powder to ovarian cancer, but never added warning labels to product packaging or ads. If you were diagnosed with ovarian cancer after regularly using baby powder, you may have a case. The number of lawsuits involving Johnson & Johnson has increased with significant talcum powder verdicts, including a landmark verdict of $4.7 billion to 22 women in 2018. If you or a loved one were diagnosed with ovarian cancer and regularly used baby powder, you may be entitled to compensation.
Call Sokolove Law now, 877-300-5890 for your free legal consultation. That's 877-300-5890. 877-300-5890. I'm a non-attorney spokesperson.
If you or a loved one has mesothelioma or any other asbestos-related cancer, call now. Asbestos manufacturers sold deadly asbestos materials to thousands of companies, putting workers at risk. An estimated $30 billion in court-ordered trusts have been set aside to pay out claims to asbestos victims. You may be entitled to a portion of these funds and receive compensation without filing a lawsuit or ever going to court. For your free legal consultation, call 1-800-940-2221. That's 1-800-940-2221.
Attention, if you were born before 1958, listen closely. The CDC reports again that industrial and trade workers were exposed to deadly asbestos decades ago. As a result, people who began working in the 1970s are being diagnosed today with mesothelioma and other asbestos-related diseases. If you or a loved one has been diagnosed with mesothelioma, find out if you're eligible for compensation. Call Sokolove Law at 1-800-123-1958. 1-800-123-1958. I'm a non-attorney spokesperson.
Attention diabetics. The FDA warns certain type 2 diabetes drugs may lead to ketoacidosis, a condition which causes dangerously high blood acid levels. Kidney problems have also been reported. If you or a loved one take Invokana or another drug listed and develop ketoacidosis, kidney problems, or were hospitalized for any reason, you may be entitled to compensation. Call Sokolove Law, 1-800-123-4567 for a free legal consultation. That's 1-800-123-4567. I'm a non-attorney spokesperson.
Attention. Every day, families across the United States make the difficult decision to place loved ones in the care of nursing homes and long-term care facilities. They might trust these facilities to provide a safe environment and quality care for their residents. But it is important to know the warning signs of potential nursing home abuse and neglect, which may help to ensure your loved ones are receiving proper care. Some of the warning signs may be broken bones, unexplained bruises, skin tears, bed sores, dehydration, and malnutrition. If you suspect a loved one is suffering abuse or neglect in a nursing home or long-term care facility, you can report it immediately for investigation and may want to speak with an attorney to try and help protect their rights. Call Sokolove Law today for a free legal consultation at 1-800-123-4567. Again, that's 1-800-123-4567. I'm a non-attorney spokesperson.
Attention knee replacement patients. If you had surgery in 2011 or later and needed revision surgery, listen closely. You may be entitled to compensation. The FDA has received numerous reports of early device failure involving certain implants. Examples of device failure include loosening, dislocation, and dissociation or separation of the implant. Symptoms of device failure may include pain, swelling, joint instability, warmth of the joint, inflammation, and redness of the skin. If you had knee replacement surgery in 2011 or later and suffered complications that required additional surgery, you may be entitled to compensation. Even if you're not sure which brand was used in your surgery, you may still be eligible for compensation. Call Sokolove Law now at 1-800-123-4567 for a free legal consultation. That's 1-800-123-4567. Again, that's 1-800-123-4567. I'm a non-attorney spokesperson. Attention! If you or a loved one developed a serious bacterial infection after heart surgery, listen closely. The Stalker 3T heater cooler system, a medical device that regulates body temperature during surgery, may cause life-threatening infections. If you or a loved one suffered a bacterial infection after cardiac surgery or have symptoms of an infection, you may be entitled to compensation. Call Sokolove Law, 1-800-123-4567 for a free legal consultation. 1-800-123-4567. I'm a non-attorney spokesperson.
Attention breast cancer survivors. If your hair has not grown back months after finishing chemotherapy, listen closely. Taxotere is a chemotherapy drug used to treat breast cancer and has been linked to permanent hair loss, also known as permanent alopecia. While temporary hair loss during treatment is common, you may not have been warned that your hair loss could be permanent. Permanent hair loss has been associated with this drug for years, but the manufacturer only recently updated their warning label in the U.S. with this information. The emotional damage caused by permanent hair loss can destroy a woman's self-image and quality of life. If your hair never grew back after chemotherapy for breast cancer, you may be entitled to compensation for your suffering. Call Sokolove Law now at 1-800-123-4567 for a free legal consultation. That's 1-800-123-4567. Again, that's 1-800-123-4567. I'm a non-attorney spokesperson.
Attention hip replacement patients. Stryker has recalled its L-Fit V40 femoral head, a component used in many metal-on-metal hip replacements. This component may cause pain, swelling, inflammation, and metal poisoning known as metallosis. If you're suffering or needed revision surgery because your implant failed, you may be entitled to compensation. Even if you're unsure the component was used, call Sokolove Law, 1-800-123-4567 for your free legal consultation. 1-800-123-4567. I'm an attorney spokesperson.
Attention Abilify users. The FDA issued a safety warning about the increased risk of pathological gambling while taking Abilify. In fact, the FDA now requires new warnings on drug labels for compulsive gambling. If you or a loved one developed an uncontrollable gambling problem while taking Abilify, you may be entitled to compensation. Call Sokolove Law, 1-800-123-4567 for a free legal consultation. That's 1-800-123-4567. I'm a non-attorney spokesperson.
Attention! If you or a loved one have a blood clot filter to prevent blood clots in the heart or lungs, listen closely. The FDA warns that these dangerous blood clot devices, also known as IVC filters, may break, move, tilt, or puncture veins and organs. When these blood clot devices fail, you may be at risk for serious injuries, such as internal bleeding, heart or lung damage, pulmonary embolism, deep vein thrombosis, stroke, or even death. In some cases, removable blood clot filters may be difficult or impossible to take out. If you were injured or if a loved one died because a blood clot filter failed, you may be entitled to significant compensation. Time may be limited. Don't wait to file a claim. Call Sokolove Law now at 1-800-123-4567 for a free legal consultation. That's 1-800-123-4567. Again, call 1-800-123-4567. I'm a non-attorney spokesperson.
Have you lost money on your investments? Don't blame yourself. Your stockbroker or financial advisor may have withheld information, suggested unsuitable investments, or even just plain lied to you. Whether your losses are big or small, if you suspect your money has been mismanaged, call Sokolove Law now and let us try to recover some or all of your hard-earned money. Call Sokolove Law today at 1-800-897-3504. That's 1-800-897-3504. I'm a non-attorney spokesperson.
Sometimes mistakes are easy to erase, but when you've been hurt in an accident, nothing seems easy, and the aftermath can be permanent. A car accident, dog bite, slip and fall, or worksite accident can result in serious injury. We can't erase an injury or make the pain disappear, but we will try to fight on your behalf for any compensation that may be available. Call Sokolove Law at 1-800-CALL-JIM for a free legal consultation. That's 1-800-CALL-JIM. I'm a non-attorney spokesperson.
Attention investors. Does your stockbroker buy and sell investments in your account time and time again? If so, you may be a victim of churning. Churning happens when your broker makes trades simply to generate commissions and transaction fees at your expense, and it's illegal. Even if your losses seem small, if you suspect your account was mismanaged, call Sokolove Law now and let us try to recover your hard-earned money. Call today, 1-800-311-LOSS, 1-800-311-LOSS. I'm a non-attorney spokesperson. The instant a car accident happens, life can change forever for you and your family. Time and insurance companies may not be on your side. If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident, call Sokolove Law now. You could be entitled to compensation, but time to file a claim may be limited. When accidents happen, make Sokolove Law your first call. Call 1-800-580-1073 now for your free legal consultation. That's 1-800-580-1073. I'm a non-attorney spokesperson. Attention accident victims. Time is not on your side. If you or a loved one has been injured in an accident, call Sokolove Law now. You have legal rights and may be entitled to compensation, but time to file a claim could be limited. Don't wait another second. When accidents happen, make Sokolove Law your first call. Call 1-800-972-HELP now for your free legal consultation. That's 1-800-972-HELP. I'm a non-attorney spokesperson.
Attention men. Have you been diagnosed with skin cancer? One of the most widely prescribed drugs used to treat erectile dysfunction has been linked to the development of melanoma, a rare and potentially fatal form of skin cancer. If you've taken a prescription erectile dysfunction drug and were later diagnosed with a skin cancer melanoma, you may be entitled to compensation. Call Sokolove Law now, 1-800-250-2035 for your free legal consultation. That's 1-800-250-2035. I'm a non-attorney spokesperson. Hear mesothelioma? Think Sokolove Law. When you hear mesothelioma, one of the first things you should do is search for mesothelioma Sokolove Law. It's the easy way to find the information and resources you need. Search for mesothelioma Sokolove Law to learn about treatment options, the billions of dollars set aside for victims and their families, and how you may be entitled to compensation. It's just 3 words that put you in touch with one firm. Mesothelioma Sokolove Law. I'm a non-attorney spokesperson.
Birth injuries are heartbreaking. Many could have been prevented. Cerebral palsy, Erb's palsy, broken bones at birth, and brain or spinal injuries may all be the result of improper care or a medical mistake. Your doctor or hospital may be at fault, and you may be owed money that could help cover the cost of caring for your child. Call us today to learn more.
Attention parents, your pregnancy seemed healthy and normal, but then something went wrong during your delivery. As a mother, you may blame yourself, but it might not be your fault. You probably trusted and relied on your doctor to recognize and manage the risks for you and your baby. A diagnosis of cerebral palsy or Erb's palsy could be the result of a birth injury caused by improper care provided by your doctor or hospital staff. Symptoms of a birth injury include seizures, tight muscles, a limp arm, an inability to sit up, crawl, or walk, and missing developmental milestones. Call us. Our registered nurse case managers will review the medical care you received and help find answers. If your child has been diagnosed with cerebral palsy, Erb's palsy, or suffers from a birth-related injury, you may be entitled to compensation. Call Sokolove Law for a free legal consultation at 1-800-123-4567. That's 1-800-123-4567. I'm a non-attorney spokesperson.